the unique thing about this is the judge wouldn't let them argue the law, wouldn't let the defense. Typically, the prosecutor should be jumping up and down, yelling, saying, Judge, we want to be able to argue the law, which means if you don't believe a witness's credibility, you can disregard any or everything they say. The judge is going to instruct you that. The prosecutors want to say that typically, but who wants to say it in this case? The defense. So
Pam,
the judge didn't let them argue the law, which is unheard of, you guys. That is unheard of in a criminal case. So the prosecutors had nothing, and the defense attorneys did a fantastic job. I was in the court last week with President Trump. I wish I was in there yesterday to have heard the closing arguments. But, you know, if a jury comes back with a quick verdict, that's typically better for the defense. So let's pray for a quick verdict.
yeah, do you think we could have a verdict in this thing by the end of the day today? Is that a possibility?
It's a possibility because there's no case. Again, we have 12 New York jurors. Let's just hope they follow the law. People keep saying there are 2 lawyers on the jury, but you know, I doubt these lawyers have ever been prosecutors nor defense attorneys. So we'll see what happens. But the law is not on the side of the prosecution in this case. They did not make this case. It should have been a directed verdict. If convicted, it will be appealed 100%, and it will be reversed. This judge has committed reversible error every step of the way throughout this trial. Even when I was in the courtroom for one day, I saw him commit error in this case. So hopefully the jurors will follow the law. Again, a quick verdict is usually better for the defense. But, you know, 12 people have to come to an agreement on this.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we were joined earlier this morning by Trump attorney Will Scharf, and we asked him about why it took the prosecution so long to identify the actual crime that took place here. Here's how he responded.
Trump is accused of allegedly suppressing negative stories about himself before the 2016 election, so they didn't impact him in the election. Why did it take so long to get there?
Yeah, in most criminal cases, you start with the charges and proceed from there. Here it seems like the prosecution took the opposite tack. It's a bit of a shell game in a way that they hid what they were actually trying to prove for so long. It's worth noting that we were ready to call a former FEC commissioner, probably the country's greatest expert on federal election law, but Judge Merchan really wasn't willing to let him testify. His testimony would have conclusively shown that nothing at issue in this case violated federal election law.
Okay, so Pam, I'm wondering how important jury instructions are going to be for this jury. This judge is going to give instructions right around 10 o'clock this morning. We're hearing they will take about an hour, and then this is all in the jury's hands. But a lot will depend upon the instructions that Juan Merchan delivers today.
Correct. Jury instructions are vital. And that I was in when they argued jury instructions last week, and I feel he committed reversible error then, the judge, because he's not even making them be unanimous on the underlying felony, which is proving the case. They don't have to be unanimous on that. It's unheard of because they don't have a case. So the judge is instructing him. He's not giving, as I believe, the willful instruction for a criminal case. Any conduct the defendant commits has to be willful. The judge isn't giving that instruction. So he's doing everything he can to help the prosecution. You know, you always hear that, oh, a judge sometimes puts his thumb on the scale for prosecutors. This judge is sitting at the prosecutor's table. I've never in my entire career seen anything like it.
And something else interesting that happened yesterday. So the judge gave the jury the option after the defense's closing to just end for the day and then come back the next morning fresh to hear the prosecution. They said no. What do you make of that? Could that be a good sign for Donald Trump?
Absolutely. They're over this case. They want to deliberate. They want to come to a verdict. I think it's great for the defense. Again, a quick verdict is always better for the defense. But remember, you have 12 people who have not spoken to each other about this case. They can't talk about the facts of the case on a break at all, or they will get excused. They're not supposed to watch the news. They're not supposed to read the newspapers, but, you know, who knows? They should have been sequestered from day one.
Right.
And I've had murder cases less high profile where the jurors were sequestered. So they should have been sequestered. But again, this is the first time they're able to talk to each other. But it's a great sign that they're anxious to get back there and resolve this case. And let's pray it's in favor of the defendant, Donald Trump.